I'm Julia Sutherland.
And I'm Jo Westbrook, and we're from the University of Sussex.
The Fast to Read approach involves reading 2 novels in a term at a faster pace and immersively, with few interruptions, to engage students in the narrative arc and develop whole text comprehension, interpretation and engagement. It's particularly beneficial for struggling and disadvantaged readers at either Key Stage 2 or Key Stage 3 who may never have read a whole book.
It includes explicit modelling of reading strategies to support students to monitor their comprehension and overcome sticking points to understand the narrative, for example, questioning, inferring and making connections.
It also uses groups reading aloud together expressively in a safe space, asking each other questions and using the strategies to interpret and enjoy the text.
And the choice of text is crucial. They should be challenging, culturally diverse, typically contemporary novels where students see themselves positively represented.
The selection of our paired text is a really important process. Ultimately, students in our classroom need to feel known and valued, and part of that is being able to see themselves in the stories that we read and engage with in lessons. Take these 2 texts, for example. You've got The Hate U Give and Jane Eyre, 2 really quite well-known texts. And ultimately, reading them back to back, 6 weeks for Jane Eyre, 6 weeks for The Hate U Give, gives students the opportunity to immediately compare these texts, to immediately analyse structurally with really quite high-level interpretations. And they do that naturally. It's not a process where we are, as teachers, giving them the tools to do it. It's just very simply the reading them in conjunction with each other that allows them to make those inspired comparisons. Ultimately, the selection of 2 complementary texts allows our students to broaden their understanding of the world, culture, politics, history. It allows them to explore 2 texts thematically and really challenge themselves.
One of the greatest benefits of the Fast to Read programme is that you get to do expressive reading with your class. This is how I might do it. So reading a book like Now is the Time for Running. Dio calls Innocent. Are you there? I'm right behind you. Keep crawling. Don't look back. Slowly, I say, as the barbed wire bites my brother. Keep as close to the ground as you can. One by one, we crawl through to the other side. Lennox holds back the wire until all of us are through. Sweat is running down his face. He takes out his shirt and quickly puts it back on. We all do the same. The man who helps Innocent in the river has not come through the barbed wire. All we have now is Lennox. Now, I would read in that style for approximately half an hour, maybe even longer. And I wouldn't pause the reading to ask comprehension questions. I would wait until a particular point, maybe at the end or the start of the lesson, where I may say something like, so how is Dio treating his brother at this moment? What's going on for Innocent? Comprehension questions that then help students really guide their way through the novel. The most important thing is that reading. I can use my voice as a way to aid comprehension. We can also then start to think about the narrative arc, moving to the other bonus, which is the fact that back-to-back reading means students really get a sense of the structure and the excitement of the novel. They come back into the classroom wanting to know exactly what's going to happen next, and really with their own questions as well.
A really important part of the Fast to Read is reading in groups. So giving students a variety of reading experiences, and having them read in groups helps build their confidence, so reading out loud to each other and giving them some autonomy over dividing up reading parts, etc. Another great aspect of group reading and dialogic talk is having the reading strategies explicitly. So you could have them, for example, on a key ring like this, where you have the reading strategy on one side and the definition on the other. And when students are reading, they can use this to identify what reading strategy they're using, and then you can have really rich discussions about why that strategy is important and how it makes them a better reader.
I enjoy the Fast to Read because our students enjoy it. They share in the reading process, they engage with character and plot development, they have that shared sense of a journey. And I think that's really, really important because They don't get that anywhere else, I don't think, in school. For me, when they have asked those questions, they've had that excitement or that sadness or that moment of emotion within the classroom, and they leave the classroom talking about the text that they are reading, that's a wonderful, wonderful moment.
I was lucky enough to be part of the original study 9 years ago, and since then I've taken that approach to all of the schools that I've worked in. I find that it really chimes with what English teachers naturally want to do. We want to read texts, and we want to read them as full text as well. What I found is that students have really captured that excitement in their own reading. They've gone off to find those authors or find those themes in other books. So it's inspired students to get excited about reading, and for me, that's really precious.
We've been doing the Faster Read here now for 9 years, because this school was originally part of the original study. And since then, because it was so transformative for our teaching and for engagement of students, we've actually designed our whole Key Stage 3 curriculum around the Faster Read. So at the beginning of years 7, 8 and 9, we have 2 novels per year group, because engagement was the biggest thing that we noticed straight away. And we had lots of reluctant readers, lots of readers who don't see themselves as a reader actually, or have very negative views about reading. And they went from hating reading to running into the classroom saying, "Are we reading today? Are we reading today?" And being really excited about reading and talking about reading outside of lessons. So that's really amazing, and that was very immediate. But then the other benefits are the group reading. In our student voice, they've all said that's their favourite thing about the Faster Read. It's helped them become more fluent readers, and it's helped them become much more confident at reading out loud in front of their peers. So that's been a really important part of it. And then the last thing I think, which we noticed it took a bit longer for us to notice this, but the analytical writing at the end of the unit was really strong. Because although they'd spent most of the lessons reading and dialogically discussing things, that meant that they were actually really immersed in the text, rather than stopping to write little paragraphs all the time and being out of the text. They were immersed in it, they'd comprehended the text really well, and they enjoyed it. So they were able to actually write about it on a deeper analytical level. And especially because it gives them a sense of the whole text quickly, they're actually really more confident at writing about structure, which typically our students are weaker at. The reading ages have gone up as well. It's been good for all readers, not just weak readers. The group reading, building resilience and confidence, and made them better analytical writers. And obviously, they love reading, which is the biggest thing out of it.
Many primary, secondary and alternative provision schools across the UK are using this approach for Key Stage 2, 3, GCSE and even A-level.
Some schools are reading as many as 4 to 6 texts in every year at Key Stage 3, which is 18 books by the end of Year 9. And they say that their students are bucking the national trend and opting to take A-level English literature because they love reading.
So try it out and let us know how you get on.